Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Have you guys ever experienced a moment where you do a bee removal, or you maybe have a colony that swarms out on you and you end up having this extra comb that you don't really know what to do with? It's comb that was just abandoned, and you know very well if you leave it lying around, the wax moth and hive beetles are literally going to eat it up. Well, I want to show you guys what I do with all of my comb that bees abscond from. So whether that is a removal or if it is just a colony that swarmed out on me and left, or a colony that died on me, what I do with the comb. I have a 5-frame nuke system that I use for my queen rearing, and this is a great way for me to boost my existing colonies. So you can freeze the comb if you want, you can pack it away, you can seal it off, but I find giving this comb to existing colonies really boosts them and help them to expand a lot quicker. So this is one of my techniques that I use for boosting the bees that are really doing well in my apiary. So I give them the extra resources to use inside of the hive. So I want to show you guys how I do this, and I hope maybe this can help you in the future if you do have a colony that is swarmed out, or you just got some extra comb that you don't know what to do with. So guys, as you can see, they've drawn out all 5 of the frames. So they are literally full here. They're full at the bottom. So now I'm going to do an extra up for them. So I'm going to put another box on top of this one, and I'm going to give them those 5 frames. Because I can't remove any of these. They've all been drawn out looking beautiful. So I'm just going to go up and I'm going to give them a new box. And there you have it, guys. This is how I build my bee colonies. This is specific just to my queen rearing setup. So this is the way I make my queens. I mate my queens. I have found that this system is really amazing in helping the bees to recover a lot faster, especially when you are doing splits, and it's not so overwhelming for our queen bees. I find that our African honeybee queens are very sensitive to heat or any disturbances. So if you are mating queens and the box is too hot or it's too cold or there's any funny thing happening inside, the queens will actually swarm out on you, even if they are virgin queens. They will not wait to get mated. They will literally just swarm out of the box and leave. So these plastic nukes didn't really work so well, because the African honeybee does not like plastic or polystyrene. So I had to devise this whole wooden system that really works well. My bees are thriving inside of here so much, and I hope this helps you guys. Maybe you got some inspiration from this.
Okay guys, so that is pretty much how I build my apiary. I don't build my apiary precisely on a 10 box brood box. I actually use 5 frame nukes that I have developed for myself, and I have a specialized base that I build for my operations. But that is now how I was able to take the double one, and I was able to put the frames in the middle and then just put that box on top. So that's why I like using the 5 frame nuke method, because it is a great method of helping the bees to expand quite quickly. Because that top box I put onto that hive 7 days ago with a small starter strip of wax sheeting, but just like a strip like this, guys, and they've already drawn out most of that comb inside of there. I couldn't take any frames out of there. I had to include a new box in between it, and that is how you reuse your resources. So it's a great way for you to actually build your apiary on a budget, and I'll tell you guys why. Because now those resources are being utilized by those bees. When I decide at some point to expand or my apiary, or I make a new queen and I want a box to put her in, I have 5 boxes right there that I can split up, and I can put my queens inside of there. And then each one of them has a specialized frame that they go on that I have designed myself, and I build them for myself. So this is my queen rearing operations, but that's why I like building in the 5 frames. But this is a great way for you to reuse the resources that your bees make. Remember, bees work really hard at making these resources. You want to make sure that you utilize them to the best of your abilities. So these 5 pieces of comb that I've put in, some of them are big, some of them are smaller. But the good thing about it is these bees can now utilize those resources to finish building out the comb, and they can use it to boost themselves. So it's a great way for you to grow your apiary and reuse everything that you get. Guys, I cannot tell you how I was able to expand my apiary very quickly by using the existing resources that I had. When I did bee removals, I didn't throw anything away. I used everything that the bees gave me out of that removal. I would string it up and I would put it into frames, and I will give it back to the bees, and I'll split those resources between all of them. And that's how I was able to expand my apiary so quickly, because I'm using this method. So guys, let me know in the comment section if you guys want to learn more about this system that I'm using. Being a woman and not being able to carry around 50 kgs all over the place, this is a great way for me to expand my apiary, build my bees. And guess what, guys? I even do honey production like this. So I'm going to take you guys along with me and show you how we use this setup to do honey production. So guys, stay tuned, but drop me in the comments if you guys would like to see more of this, and for me to explain how we build this and how we are using it in our very own apiary. So guys, there you are. That's how easy it is to reuse all the existing things that the bees give you. Nothing needs to go to waste. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys.
So we had a lot of rain lately, and I had a Tyre full of bees, and as you can see, this comb is completely ruined by the amount of rain. Now I love the rain because it means pollen and nectar for my bees, so I'm always loving the rain. But this just made me realize that it is time for me to move this colony from the Tyre to a new home, because I don't want them to get caught up in the rain and potentially lose this amazing colony. Just look at how many bees are bulging here. And I was so afraid that we get another big storm and water actually gets into the container and it ends up killing these bees. So I then took on the task of actually removing them. So let me give you guys the backstory on these bees. I was contacted by a friend of mine that had these bees in his backyard. It was a small little swarm that moved into the Tyre, and he actually wanted to keep the bees because he has a nice garden. But what he then realized was he couldn't keep the bees because he had dogs and he was afraid of his dogs getting stung or potentially killed by the bees. So he then called me and asked me to just remove the whole Tyre. He even put that beautiful yoga mat on top to protect them and make sure that they don't have a problem with water getting in. But then, as life happens, I brought them home and I just never got time to remove them. Every single time I made time to remove them, something happened, life happened. And then once this rain hit, I realized this beautiful colony needs to be moved into their new home. They need to get into a new home. I need to make sure that they are safe. But here was the challenge. You guys can see from this Tyre, this is a massive colony. They went from a small handful of bees to this huge, massive colony in a matter of 6 months. So this was crazy hectic. And I realized that I think the best option is going to be to split them into 3 separate hives and then allow them all to requeen and have a look at what the queen is like. Now, these bees have been absolutely amazing. They've been staying in this Tyre at my yard for over 6 months. They've never stung us. Sometimes I would put my face right up against them. They wouldn't come out stinging me. Now, guys, I'm not saying that the African honeybee cannot have a bad day, but in general, this colony was so calm. They were so relaxed, and I absolutely loved working with them. And I definitely wanted to keep this genetics in my apiary. So I then decided to put them into 3 separate boxes to make 3 separate queens. Instead of just having 1 queen in a box, well, technically they would make 2 new queens. The queen will go in one, and then the other 2 colonies will make their own queen. So this was a fabulous removal, and the honey was absolutely delicious. Guys, this was one of the best removals I had done for 2024. It was really a memorable one, and that is why I included it in the video, because I wanted to show you guys just power of bees. Just look how they filled up this entire Tyre in a matter of 6 months. It's absolutely amazing. I had such a tough challenge to cut them out, but I did my best, and they are all thriving in my apiary. It had been raining for quite a while down in the apiaries area. I wanted to go and make sure that the bees are nice and safe, because they did have some feeders on them, and I just wanted to make sure that they are okay and that they are warm, and get the feeders off them and close them back up. Now, I'm just going to say a word of caution. I am not wearing a suit with my bees here. I do know my colonies. I know which ones are aggressive, which ones are not. I know which of the bees will react in a certain way, so I would not advise anybody to just work with the African honeybee without a suit. And if you decide to do work without a suit, you need to understand the risks that is associated with this. So I just want to put out a disclaimer. I know my bees. I have been working with them for a while. I know these queens, and I know that the moment that I open up the hive, they will not explode into my face and sting me at all. So I don't want this to be set as the norm for the African honeybee. Safety is a very, very important factor for me, and you should always take your safety into consideration. So yeah, I had to get all of the supers or the feeding systems off because they were taking up extra space, which the bees needs to use to keep warm. So I then decided to remove all of them and just have a look what's going on inside of the hives, and then just close them up. Because we didn't know how long we were going to have rain. So it's very important for the bees to conserve energy and to make sure that they can keep their brood warm. So that was the most important thing for me. And I just needed to make sure that the hives at the apiary are okay and that they are, nothing has happened to them. For example, that they haven't been blown over, or that water or moisture is very damaging to bees. I needed to make sure that there wasn't unnecessary water buildup. And then obviously I just had to do some basic TLC things around the apiary and make sure that everything is right and ready. I sometimes do think that I'm very protective of my bees, but it's because my bees, I've always seen them as part of my family. They are like animals, although they are wild animals. I'm not saying that they are like your cats and dogs, but for me, they are essential. I absolutely love every single colony. I know my colony's temperaments. I know the queens. Most of the queens that are in those boxes I have had in my hand. They literally came out in my incubator and I held them in my hand as a proud mother the first time I got them. So I think it's important to understand that our relationship with our bees are not just always a business transaction, but it's also just you having these amazing creatures that you get to work with. And these bees are absolutely amazing. I love the bees in my apiary. They are phenomenal. And I will always make sure that they're well taken care of. So this was a cold day, but also a necessary day to make sure that the apiary is functioning properly. Okay, guys, that is that for today's beekeepers updates. I just had to do some basic work around the apiary. I had a nice removal. But guys, if this is the first time that you are seeing my videos, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Marnie. I am a beekeeper in the beautiful country of South Africa, home of the African honeybee. And I was able to build my apiary from one single hive that my dad bought me. And by removing a couple of swarms, I was able to take that single box with those swarms through the perfecting of queen rearing. I was able to take them to well over 50 hives as we speak. I have huge plans for my apiary, but I want to thank you guys for joining me in today's video and just seeing what I'm up to and what I'm doing in my beekeeping business. If you are looking for a beekeeping club where we have fun, great education, amazing community of people or beekeepers, and you're just looking for a place to learn more and to have a community that will guide you and support you, then please check out our beekeeping club. It's an amazing place. I do a lot of lives. I show you how to do hive inspections. I answer all your questions. I also show you the ropes, what it takes to build an apiary, and I take you along behind the scenes. So I share my hive inspections with you. Anything that I create, I share with my beekeeping community first of all. But guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It does really help a channel like mine. And yeah, please stick around and I will see you guys in the next video. Like always, guys, have a terrific day.